Hi there, and thanks for joining us for this season's final edition of Inside F&M Wrestling. I'm Brad Weltmer here for GoDiplomats.com, joined one last time by Franklin Marshall head wrestling coach Mike Rogers. Mike, thanks so much for sitting down here with us.
Yep.
So you finished out the season last week. It was EIWA Championships hosted by Lehigh. Patty Quinlan, Rob King, Charles Kestner, they all picked up wins in the wrestlebacks, but weren't able to advance any of them to the second day of action. So just recap the performances of those guys and some other the players on the team.
Yeah, I mean, those guys all did well. I mean, I think we're first of all we're disappointed in the final result, not getting anyone in the NCAA tournament. That's the first time that's happened since I've been here. We've able to at least get punch one guy through, at least get guys to the second day competing. So that's a bit disappointing, but I don't think it's by lack of effort. Our guys wrestle tough. I think conditioning-wise, our guys are pushing the pace in the third period. So it came down to just making some key mistakes and bad timing with some of our guys. Rob was one match away from going to the second day, and Chucky was the same thing, one more match away and to go. So it just comes down to we got to do the right things at the right time. But our efforts there, the guys' hearts there, they definitely wrestled with all the intensity that we bring to the table, and just came up short in a couple of spots. And it's a good learning lesson from our guys. I don't think anyone's happy with it. From the coaching staff all the way down to the athletes. We're already planning on what we need to do to get better to make next year's event a lot more successful. We can't just be dependent on Richter. So we saw with him out this year redshirting. He'll be back, but we need a full a complement of those other guys to pick up points. But like I said, Rob and King and Patty Quinlan and Chuck Kessner, they all, the last matches they lost were very competitive. And, Chucky lost, he was up by one, gave up a takedown last, 5 seconds, 10 seconds of the match. So he's right in the mix. But it definitely shows them that they're about a step or two behind the guy in front of them that's placing. So what are you going to do to make those changes? And I think they're committed to making those changes, making those adjustments, doing what they need to do to get themselves on that podium, to get them a chance to go out to the NCAA tournament next year. And that's our goal. We've already started thinking about that. We're already putting things in place to make next season a lot more successful at the end of the year. But our guys need to realize, and as a coaching staff, we have to do the things to our biggest problem was getting off the bottom. We gave up a lot of riding time, getting turned and not getting escapes. And that comes back to bite you. And a lot of our matches were 1-2 point matches, and that's a riding time and that's an escape point. We clean up those two areas. We're in the mix of some of those matches.
So looking ahead a little bit to next season, you're going to be returning a really young team that got some experience under their belt this year. And then, like you said earlier, returning All-American Rick Durso. So there seems to be a few things to look forward to. Just talk about what are some of the goals and what are some of the expectations going into next year.
The goals are always the same. I think we're every year we stiffen up our schedule, and we've already planned our schedule next year. We're adding more teams in the conference on the schedule, so it's putting our guys in positions to wrestle some of the guys in the conference more often. I think one of the problems is that we don't see the Lehighs enough. We don't see the Penn kids enough. We don't see the AU guys enough. So we're going to try to put ourselves in position to see and compete against the teams in our conference as much as we possibly can. So I think that's one of our goals, is to get our guys in front of the guys that they're going to have to beat more during the season. So the first time they see them, it's not just at conference. They have an idea what they need to do and where they stand amongst their peers in their weight class. So that's one of the goals, and like I said before, is just doing the things we need to do over the summertime. Lifting, clean up technique. Our guys are already focused on doing some postseason stuff. Some freestyle wrestling. And with Coach Defer leading the way on the postseason stuff, I think they're going to have a better summer. The biggest thing, if we don't do anything, we're going to come back in the same spot we left, and that's not acceptable. So just doing the things over the summertime to increase their ability is big. That with those guys coming back, all our young guys that, like I said before, the guys who scored points at the conference they're all returning. Rob King and Quinlan and Chucky are all coming back along with Durso, and then I think all the other guys are coming back, like Tommy Quinlan and Mancini and all those other guys that are going to add to it. So it was a good experience. They understood. I think they understand now what Division I means and the level of competition they need to be at, and that experience is priceless. So taking that experience, use that to motivate themselves over the summertime and coming back ready to go.
And this year's lineup had a heavy freshman influence. Is with your recruiting class that you're bringing in next year, do you see that being the case again?
Not ideally. I mean, you don't. I mean, you want to bring in competitive freshman guys. So our incoming class is going to be competitive. We have a lot of good guys. We'll make an announcement here, probably in the next few weeks once we get everyone going through a regular decision and ED1, ED2, all that stuff. But we have some talented kids coming in. They're going to push for some time. Through some injuries and things, we had we had to start some younger guys. But some of our young guys earned the spot too. So I don't think you deter your younger guys to fight for that starting lineup. But ideally, you want your upperclassmen, the guys that have been there, to kind of lead the way. But that's one good thing about our sport. It's the guys kind of sorted it out themselves. You beat the guy head to head in a wrestle off or in a competition. It's their spot. So I think it shows the level of recruits we're bringing in, that the younger guys are coming in and fighting for the starting spot from our upperclassmen. It goes to show you that it doesn't really matter your age or what. You can come in as a 18-year-old high school kid, just out of high school, and beat a 20-year-old college guy if you put in your time. Just because you're older doesn't mean you're better. So I think our younger guys are going to come in just as hungry as our freshman class, and it's up to our freshman class, our sophomore class, to do the things they need to do to keep those guys, to keep themselves in the lineup. If not, we have enough competition in room that someone's going to step in there and compete.
Great. Well, thanks for sitting down here with us, and best luck moving forward.
Thanks.
And thank you for tuning in this year. Be sure to keep up with F&M Wrestling by following them on Twitter, liking them on Facebook, subscribe to the GoDiplomats YouTube page.